Hey everybody, how are you guys doing? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to discuss the Game Awards because this morning all of the nominations came out for the Game Awards 2020 happening in a couple of weeks. And it's always interesting, it's always a lot of fun. I am a fan of the Game Awards, okay, so I do just want to put that out there. But there's another element that I want to discuss, and in my opinion, it's one of the biggest problems about the whole show. So before I jump into what I think is kind of the big problem and issue with the show, I do want to spend a couple of minutes talking about the nominations for Game of the Year and just the whole presentation and all of the nominations and everything happening this morning. Like I said, I do think the Game Awards is really cool. Like, I enjoy the fact that they happen. I know that they have been controversial and divisive, and slowly everyone has been kind of warming up to them over the years, but we all know that for a long time they were kind of a big joke. People weren't really taking them seriously. And that's even kind of still true to a degree, but I do feel, like I said, that for the most part, I think that the industry and the community has started to really warm up to them. And we're just so used to them happening that I don't think people question them the way they were questioning them maybe even as recently as like 2 years ago. For me, even though there really hasn't yet been a great show that actually feels like a proper award show, I still have to say that I'm a fan simply because it's really cool that a show like this even exists for this medium, right? This hobby that we all enjoy of gaming. I mean, before Jeff Keighley went out of his way to really work hard and put this thing together, I think the first one was, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago, around 2013 or 2014. But don't quote me, I didn't look that up, and maybe I'll find that out. But the point is, since it's been happening, I think it's just cool to know that somebody's actually trying to put a show like this on, I guess I could say that we should feel lucky to a degree that this even happens. Even though, like I said, I know the quality has never really been that great, we have to appreciate that something like this even happens in the first place, I mean, with the exception of E3, we really wouldn't have a reason to all get together and watch and enjoy some sort of video game related presentation. And even though things like GDC and TGS happen throughout the year, they don't really garner the kind of feeling of everyone getting together in the community to watch and react together, the way E3 does and the way the Game Awards have slowly started to become. Now, as far as this year's nominations go, a lot of the expected players did show up and receive a lot of nominations. We knew that The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima were going to get a lot of nominations, and that is the case. And we knew that Final Fantasy VII would show up quite a bit. That is the case. The game I was hoping to see very widely represented was Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and it did get a couple of nominations, which was nice to see, and I hope that it wins all of those. But unfortunately, it didn't get nominated for Game of the Year, which does tragically break my heart. The nominations for Game of the Year are Animal Crossing New Horizons, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2. So like I said, you get a lot of kind of strong and obvious players there, and it's a fine list. I've played Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy, Ghost of Tsushima, and Last of Us. So I've played 4 out of those 6 games. Hades is a game that's on my list to play. Everyone has been raving about it recently, and I really want to check it out. I believe that it's fantastic. But honestly, even though I want to play it, I've just been too distracted with so much going on. Now I have my PS5, and I'm just addicted to playing that and Demon's Souls. And later this week, Hyrule Warriors comes out, so that's going to keep me distracted. I just don't know when I'll get back to it. But it is cool to see that game nominated alongside of these other huge AAA titles. So those are your 6 games nominated for Game of the Year. I'll be curious to hear what you guys say. Everyone's already been reacting to them in the last couple of minutes since they've been revealed. And the only thing I'll double down on one last time here is that Ori and the Will of the Wisps, man. I really think that might still be my favorite game of the year. Tough to say with Demon's Souls coming out on PS5 right now. That's really making a fight for that #1 spot for me. And Ghost of Tsushima's up there too. But I loved Ori, man. I think that game deserved credit. And, Hades kind of gets the honorary spot of being the only indie title nominated for Game of the Year. But I would have loved it if it was Ori instead. Even though I didn't play Hades, and I know, maybe I'll like Hades more than Ori when I play it. But Ori, man, I just want to sing the praises of this game. It's so fantastic. possibly my game of the year, so very sad it didn't get the nomination. Now, obviously, I do want to talk about what I feel is the big problem with the Game Awards here. Now that I've gotten it out that you guys know, I'm overall a fan of the show, so this isn't just, like following the sheep of hating the Game Awards. Like, it's not so much that. I know a lot of people just hate them because they hate them. This, to me, is like a real valid criticism, I like to think. And it's something we already know is a problem. People have complained about this for a long time. And it's the fact that the Game Awards is so mind-numbingly obsessed with airing in the month of December every year that it has created a nonsensical, arbitrary cutoff date for games that qualify to be nominated of mid-November that year, weeks before the show airs, and over a month before the year even concludes. It drives me absolutely crazy, and we've already had this problem when we talked about how Super Smash Bros. Ultimate ran into this problem launching in December and having to wait till the following year to get any recognition. Xenoblade Chronicles has run into that twice because those games typically launch in December themselves. This year, it's been a big topic of conversation because recently Cyberpunk got delayed from early November to early December, which means it also got out of the ability to be counted this year and is now going to have to be a game relegated to next year, 12 months from now. And for me, the big telling point that pushed me over the edge today and wanted to convince me to include this in this video is the fact that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is a game that released in November last year, like over 1 year ago, was nominated for a category, like Best Action Adventure Game, I think. And I saw that, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Jedi Fallen Order, that game released last year, over a year ago, so why is it showing up? And B, it was so good that it should be showing up alongside all of these other games in all of these categories, including Game of the Year. But it didn't. It didn't show up in any of those categories because, honestly, the game released so long ago. This is showing the problem. It released so long ago that it didn't actually get counted or considered for most categories. I think if this was any other normal year, that game would have been considered for all of these big categories. Best art direction, best adventure game, best, voice acting, best performance, best game direction, and game of the year. I think all of those would have contained Jedi Fallen Order in some of those nominations if it was released earlier or if they didn't have this stupid cutoff date. But because of that, they just barely forced the game into one category, so it just got basically completely forgotten. That's what happened with that game. And again, we've seen that happen in the past with games like Xenoblade. And so when this happened, I found out about this. Some people were tweeting me and letting me know the cutoff date is actually November. It's not in January or not in December. And so that's why that happened. And I'm like, what are they doing? This is so ridiculous. And to me, it ruins a lot of the validity of the awards. Again, I know we've already complained about this, but I think it's a bigger problem than maybe even I realized. To me, it all comes down to the fact that, like I said, the Game Awards airs in December. Because here's the thing. Airing in December means logistically, I can kind of understand why November is the cutoff date. Because you need to cut games off up to a certain point before the show is going to air to give all the people on the voting board time to play the game, to recognize it, to compare it to other games, and to complete it, and to consider it for all these different categories. And so yeah, a November cutoff date probably makes sense for a December air date. But why, Jeff Keighley, won't you just move the Game Awards into like January or February? Do what the Oscars do. That's why the Oscars always air in the first quarter of every year, because that way they can consider every movie released from January 1st to December 31st the prior year. It is such a simple concept. It is so easy to understand. A first grader could grasp this. And so, again, while I want to give a lot of praise and credit to Jeff Keighley for working so hard and even creating the show in the first place, and that is most important, I still have to also call him and the whole organization out for this stupid decision. Just move it out of December, bro. You don't have to do it in December, okay? You can do it in January and have enough time to put your whole show together. And then games like Smash Bros. And Cyberpunk and Xenoblade and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, apparently, can still be considered for the year that they were released in, and it gets a fair shot against all these other games, because it's not fair for a game to release in November or December or whatever of that year, like a Cyberpunk and a Smash Brothers, and have a chance at getting completely forgotten by the time the whole next year passes and we come to the next Game Awards. And so I know I'm, again, only harping on a problem that we've all acknowledged. Like I said already in this video, I know that we all already know that this is a problem, but this year specifically, and the whole situation with Jedi Fallen Order really kind of igniting this kind of frustration within me, has made me realize it's just a bigger problem than I thought it was. And so, yeah, I wanted to really focus on it in this video, because I think it's a huge missed opportunity. At the end of the day, it's a missed opportunity for the Game Awards to do the right thing and have a fully complete show that is factoring in every single worthy game, okay? I don't really care as much about games that were released November 2019. This is the 2020 show. I want games that were released in the entirety of 2020. I love Jedi Fallen Order, but it should have been shown last year. It doesn't need to be a part of this year. And so, anyway, that's my rant for the day. Obviously, I'm very passionate about this. I know I got a little bit heated here, but I just think it's a really stupid decision, and it could be easily solved by moving the show out of December. No reason for it to be in December, Jeff Keighley. Move it to January, move it to February, have a better show. That's my suggestion and advice to you if you want to have a better show. So these are my thoughts. What do you guys think about the nominations, the Game of the Year nominations, my whole complaint about the cutoff date for the show, all that good stuff? Whatever you think, talk about it below. And with that, this video is a wrap. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.